Most people ruin their own life in very small ways, and they don't even notice it, not because they are bad, not because they are lazy, but because they react without thinking. One small reaction today, another tomorrow, another next week, and slowly, without any big mistake, their confidence drops, their mind becomes noisy, and life feels heavier than it should. If you look closely at your life, you'll realize this is true. Many problems didn't start big. They started with one careless reaction, one emotional reply, one moment where you spoke, acted, or decided too fast. People think self-improvement means adding something new to their life, new habits, new routines, new motivation. But real growth often begins when you remove something. Unnecessary reactions, unnecessary emotions, unnecessary mental noise. When you learn how to pause, even for a few seconds, your whole life starts changing quietly. Your relationships become lighter. Your mind becomes calmer. Your decisions become clearer. And most people never learn this skill. That's why they stay stuck, even when they work hard. The world today moves very fast. People speak fast. They judge fast. They decide fast. And when everything moves fast, mistakes become normal. You say things you don't mean. You react in ways you later regret. You choose comfort instead of growth. Then one day you sit alone and wonder why life feels empty. The problem is not that you are weak. The problem is that nobody taught you how to slow your thinking. Nobody taught you how to stay calm when emotions rise. Nobody taught you how to separate feelings from actions. From childhood, most of us learned only one thing. React quickly. Answer back. Prove yourself. Defend your ego. And this training follows us into adulthood, at work, in relationships, in family, everywhere. But reacting fast does not mean you are strong. Many times it means you are controlled. Controlled by emotion, controlled by fear, controlled by ego. Real strength is silent. It does not rush. It observes. It understands. Then it moves. Think about the calmest person you know. They don't talk much. They don't argue much. They don't try to prove anything. Yet people respect them. Why? Because calm thinking creates stable energy. And stability is rare. Most people live in mental chaos. Their mind jumps from one thought to another. Past regrets, future worries, other people's opinions, social media noise. This constant noise makes it impossible to think clearly. Clear thinking is not about being smart. It is about being quiet inside. When your mind is quiet, you see reality as it is, not as your emotions paint it, not as your fears imagine it, not as your ego wants it to be. And this clarity changes everything. You start noticing patterns. You notice how certain situations always trigger you. You notice how certain people easily control your mood. You notice how some habits slowly drain your energy. Awareness is painful at first, because you realize many problems were not created by others. They were created by your reactions. But this pain is useful. It wakes you up. Once you see clearly, you cannot unsee it. Many people avoid thinking deeply because thinking reveals responsibility. And responsibility feels heavy. It means you can no longer blame others fully. It means you must change something inside yourself. But here is the truth. Responsibility gives power. Blame takes power away. When you blame the world, you wait for the world to change. When you take responsibility, you change yourself. And when you change yourself, your life changes automatically. This is where knowledge becomes important. Not random information, not useless facts, but knowledge that improves how you think. Knowledge that helps you understand human behavior. Knowledge that teaches you how the mind works. Without knowledge, people repeat the same mistakes proudly. They say, "This is just how I am." But that is not honesty. That is ignorance. Better thinking comes from better input. What you read, what you listen to, what you believe. If your input is shallow, your thinking will be shallow. If your input is emotional and noisy, your thinking will be emotional and noisy. When you feed your mind with calm, truthful ideas, your thinking becomes calm and truthful. This is why learning matters. Not to show others, not to feel superior, but to think better, to decide better, to live better. And while you are listening here, something else is happening quietly. You are training your ear to natural English. You are improving your understanding without pressure. This is how you slowly achieve English fluency while improving yourself at the same time. Not by force, not by stress, but by listening, understanding, and thinking clearly. Language grows naturally when the mind is relaxed, and a relaxed mind learns faster. Most people want fast results, fast success, fast confidence, fast change. But fast growth often breaks fast. Slow growth stays. Think about a tree. It grows slowly, silently. Nobody notices it every day. But one day, it stands strong, deep-rooted, unshakable. Humans are the same. If you rush your growth, you build weak roots. One problem comes, and everything collapses. Strong thinking takes time. Strong habits take time. Strong character takes time. This is why patience is not weakness. Patience is wisdom. When you stop reacting quickly, you gain time. Time to think, time to choose, time to protect yourself from unnecessary damage. Many arguments are unnecessary. Many conflicts are avoidable. Many regrets are optional. But people don't see this because they act before thinking. Silence is a skill. And like any skill, it needs practice. At first, silence feels uncomfortable. Your ego feels ignored. Your emotions feel trapped. You feel like you are losing. But you are not losing. You are gaining control. Not every thought needs expression. Not every emotion needs action. Not every opinion needs sharing. The strongest people choose carefully when to speak and when to stay quiet. Your energy is limited. If you waste it on every small thing, you will have nothing left for what truly matters. Life becomes simpler when you stop complicating it with unnecessary reactions. Another truth people avoid is this: comfort weakens the mind. When life becomes too comfortable, thinking becomes lazy. Growth stops. This is why small challenges are important. Reading when you don't feel like it. Thinking when it feels difficult. Choosing discipline when comfort is easier. These small choices shape your future. Most people think confidence comes from success. But confidence comes from self-trust, and self-trust comes from keeping promises to yourself. When you say you will do something and you do it, your mind learns to trust you. When you lie to yourself repeatedly, your mind stops believing you. This is why motivation disappears. Because deep inside, you know you won't follow through. Start small. Keep promises you can keep, even tiny ones. Slowly, confidence will return. You don't need to fix your entire life. That thinking overwhelms people. Fix one reaction, one habit, one thought. Improvement is not loud, it is quiet. It happens in daily choices nobody sees. You will feel lonely sometimes on this path because most people are comfortable in chaos. They enjoy drama. They enjoy noise. When you choose calm, you become different. Different feels lonely at first, but later it feels peaceful. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the ability to face problems without losing your balance. A calm mind solves problems faster than an emotional one. When you control your reactions, you control your direction. Your future is shaped by what you do daily, not occasionally. By how you think when nobody is watching. By how you treat yourself in silence. You are not behind. You are becoming aware. And awareness is the real beginning. Once you start thinking better, life starts responding differently. Not magically, not instantly, but steadily. This is the foundation. Everything else is built on this. And from here, the journey continues. Most people think they fail because they are unlucky, or because life is too hard. But the real reason is usually simpler, though uncomfortable to admit. They fail because they are not consistent with themselves. Not with their habits, not with their choices, not with their reactions. Every small moment builds your life, but when you ignore the small moments, life builds without you. You might think consistency is boring. It is. It is slow. It is quiet. But that quiet is powerful. While others chase excitement, consistency quietly grows your strength. You don't notice it day by day. You only see it months or years later when you look back and realize how far you have come. One mistake people make is believing change requires huge actions. They wait for motivation, inspiration, a perfect plan, or a sudden opportunity. But life doesn't work that way. Every big change is made of small steps repeated over time. One choice today, one decision tomorrow, one action the day after. That is how growth happens, not in dramatic bursts. The danger of waiting for dramatic change is that you waste years waiting. You hope life will push you forward, but life does not push. Life reacts to what you give it. Your actions, your habits, your decisions. If you wait for life to act, you stay stuck. Another reason people fail is that they allow distractions to control them. Notifications, social media, gossip, drama, endless scrolling, random videos. These seem harmless, but they quietly steal your attention. And attention is life. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, your life follows. Every time you give attention to distraction, you give life to stagnation. And the worst part is that the brain rewards distraction. It gives you small hits of dopamine. A new video, a new post, a new opinion. Your brain feels busy. You feel productive. But your life remains the same. Most people confuse being busy with being productive. They fill their day with noise, but the important work, the work that builds your future, is never done. Discipline begins when you stop being busy and start being intentional. Intentionality is the skill of deciding what truly matters, and it is rare. Most people act by habit, emotion, or influence. They react to what others do or say. They react to whatever seems urgent. But urgency is not the same as importance. If you respond to every urgent thing, you will never focus on what is truly important. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to pause before reacting. This small pause separates a thoughtful life from a reactive one. It allows you to consider the long-term effects of your decisions. It allows you to choose the response that aligns with your values. It allows you to grow quietly without chaos. Most people never pause. They react first, regret later. One angry word, one rash decision, one careless action, and months of progress can be undone in an instant. Learning to pause is not weakness. It is strength. It is control. It is freedom. Another problem is that many people are controlled by their fear of failure. They avoid risk. They wait for perfect conditions. They hope someone else will guide them. But growth lives in risk. Action without risk is comfort, disguised as productivity. You cannot grow while hiding. Mistakes are inevitable, but mistakes teach. Avoiding mistakes delays learning. Many people stay in comfort because they fear mistakes, yet the biggest regret in life comes from what they never tried, not what they failed at. To grow, you must act despite fear. You must move despite uncertainty. The first step is always the hardest, but it is also the most important. Every next step becomes easier once the first is taken. Another reason people stagnate is overthinking. They consume information endlessly. They analyze situations to death. They read, watch, and learn, but never apply. Knowledge is valuable, but knowledge without action is wasted potential. Thinking is preparation. Action is creation. Without action, you are preparing indefinitely, and life passes by. Your thinking must guide your doing, not replace it. Thoughts without practice remain ideas. Actions without understanding become mistakes, but understanding plus action becomes progress. Another truth is that your environment shapes you more than your intentions. If you are surrounded by reactive people, you will react. If you are surrounded by distraction, you will be distracted. If you are surrounded by noise, your mind will become noisy. You must carefully choose your environment. Remove what does not help you grow. Surround yourself with calm, disciplined, and intentional people. Energy is contagious. Attention is contagious. Growth is contagious. One of the biggest traps in life is chasing others' approval. People spend years trying to look a certain way, act a certain way, speak a certain way, just to be liked. But approval is temporary. It depends on others. Growth, on the other hand, depends on you, your focus, your habits, your choices. When you stop chasing approval and start chasing your own improvement, life becomes simpler. Another reason people fail is they underestimate the power of small wins. Small wins build momentum. Momentum makes bigger wins possible, but small wins are often overlooked because they are quiet. They are boring, yet they are unstoppable when repeated daily. Your habits define your life, not your goals. Goals are temporary. Habits are permanent. One small habit consistently done will outweigh a month of motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Habit is permanent. Build habits that match your values, and your life transforms without drama. Another truth is that your mind is like a muscle. If you train it with discipline, patience, and calm, it becomes strong. If you train it with distraction, chaos, and reaction, it becomes weak. Energy follows practice. Attention follows discipline. Growth follows consistency. Most people wait for inspiration, but inspiration is unreliable. Discipline is reliable. Doing the right thing when you don't feel like it is what builds real life. Waiting to feel ready is the biggest trap. There is never a perfect time. The perfect time is created by starting now. Emotions will try to control you. Fear will try to stop you. Doubt will whisper that you are not capable. But the strongest people act despite these feelings. They do what is necessary. They focus on what matters. They protect their energy. They control their mind. One of the best skills you can develop is self-observation. Watch your thoughts. Watch your reactions. Notice when you act out of habit, fear, or ego. Awareness itself is powerful because it allows choice. Once you are aware, you are no longer a prisoner of your automatic reactions. You can choose. Another truth is that life is shaped more by what you tolerate than what you fight. If you tolerate negativity, distraction, and chaos, it becomes your normal. If you enforce calm, order, and focus, it becomes your normal. Discipline starts with what you accept and what you refuse to accept. You must also learn the art of reflection. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? Where did I react unnecessarily? Reflection builds insight, and insight guides better action tomorrow. Another reason people fail is they overcomplicate things. Life is simple in principle. Work hard, think clearly, focus, act consistently, pause before reacting, learn from mistakes. Complexity comes from emotion, ego, fear, and distraction. Simplify. Focus on the fundamentals. Master them. Everything else is secondary. Your future is determined by your daily choices, not your dreams, not your plans, not your knowledge. Your actions matter more than your intentions. What you do repeatedly builds your character, your habits, your life. One final truth is that change is always inside out. You cannot control the world immediately. You can control your reactions, your thinking, your habits, your attention. Start there. The world will follow. Growth is quiet. It is slow. It is almost invisible day by day. But one day, when you look back, you realize how far you have come. You are calmer, wiser, more disciplined, more in control, and your life feels lighter. This is where true freedom begins. Freedom from reaction, freedom from chaos, freedom from unnecessary stress, freedom to choose, freedom to create the life you want. And that freedom is built by repetition, discipline, clarity, and consistent action. Every day matters. Every choice matters. Every habit matters. Start now. Begin the quiet work that no one sees, and life will reward you in ways you never imagined. Most people underestimate the power of focus. They believe they are working hard because they are busy all day, but true work is not measured by hours spent. It is measured by attention given. Attention is like a spotlight. Where you shine it, energy flows. If your attention is scattered, effort is wasted. If your attention is disciplined, results multiply. Many people live their entire lives reacting to everything around them. Notifications, conversations, opinions, situations, they respond to all of it as if each requires action. But most things do not deserve a reaction. Each reaction drains energy, each response builds habit, and the wrong habit repeated becomes a permanent weakness. Focus is not just about working on tasks. Focus is about choosing where your energy goes, who you spend time with, what information you consume, which habits you repeat. Focus is discipline applied to attention, and discipline applied to attention builds results faster than hard work without direction. Another reason people fail is impatience. They want fast results. They want immediate change. But life does not work in instant bursts. Growth is slow, steady, and accumulative. You must trust the process. One step today, one step tomorrow, and eventually, momentum builds. Momentum is like a snowball. Small choices repeated consistently gather power over time. You cannot see the change each day, but eventually it becomes unstoppable. People who quit too early never see this. They think they tried, but they never really committed long enough. Self-discipline is not about punishment or force. It is about creating an environment where you naturally do what is necessary. Remove distractions. Simplify your environment. Make the right choice the easiest one. Your environment supports your mind more than you think. Many people believe motivation is the key to success. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline is reliable. Discipline is acting even when motivation is gone, even when energy is low, even when fear is high. True progress comes from discipline, not fleeting feelings. Another mistake people make is trying to control what is uncontrollable. Life will always throw uncertainty at you. People, circumstances, even your own body are unpredictable. The more you try to control what you cannot, the more stress you create. But you can control your reactions, your habits, your thinking. This is where true power lies. Most failures come not from lack of knowledge, but from lack of action. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. You may know what is right, but if you don't implement it consistently, it means nothing. Action converts understanding into growth. A calm mind is one of the strongest tools you can develop. When you pause before reacting, you avoid unnecessary conflict, mistakes, and stress. When you let emotion dictate your actions, you give power away. When you control your emotion, you reclaim power. Another hidden trap is comparing yourself to others. Most people measure progress against someone else's highlights. But that is meaningless. Everyone is on a different path. Comparison steals focus, confidence, and energy. Focus on your own process. Improve 1% daily. That is enough. Energy management is crucial. Emotional reactions, negative thoughts, and distractions drain energy. Energy is your currency. Every decision requires energy. Waste it on unnecessary conflict, and you have less for meaningful growth. Protect your energy. Spend it wisely. Habits compound over time. Small daily actions, repeated consistently, shape your identity. People focus too much on goals instead of habits. Goals are temporary. Habits are permanent. Decide who you want to be and build habits that match that identity. Another truth is that most people overcomplicate growth. They chase multiple strategies, read endless books, watch countless videos, but fail to apply the basics. Master the fundamentals. Think clearly. Act consistently. Repeat. Complexity is a trap. Simplicity is powerful. Time management is essential. Most people think being busy is productivity, but busyness is often avoidance. Avoidance of thinking, avoidance of responsibility, avoidance of growth. Organize your time around what matters most. Prioritize clarity, focus, and meaningful work. Reflection is underrated. At the end of each day, pause and evaluate your actions. What went well? What could be better? Where did you react unnecessarily? Reflection builds insight. Insight informs better action tomorrow. This is how growth compounds. Another obstacle is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. Fear is natural, but it cannot dictate your actions. Action often begins where fear exists. Every time you act despite fear, your confidence and strength grow. Consistency beats intensity. 1 hour of focused action daily is more powerful than 10 hours done sporadically. Repetition is the hidden engine of growth. Your life is built quietly, moment by moment through consistent action. Another trap is seeking approval. Many people spend energy pleasing others instead of improving themselves. Approval is temporary. Self-improvement is permanent. Focus on your growth, and approval will either follow naturally or become irrelevant. Simplicity is underrated. Reduce unnecessary choices. Eliminate noise. Remove distractions. Create a routine that supports your focus and energy. Complexity paralyzes, simplicity accelerates, accountability matters. When you hold yourself accountable, you develop trust with yourself. Each promise you keep to yourself strengthens confidence. Each broken promise weakens it. Self-trust is the foundation of motivation, discipline, and long-term growth. Another truth is that emotions are powerful but misleading. They will exaggerate fear, doubt, and desire. Your job is not to ignore emotion, but to observe it and choose your actions intentionally. Acting only on emotion creates chaos. Acting with awareness creates stability. Your mind respects action. Every time you act despite hesitation, doubt, or fear, you train your mind to trust you. Repetition builds self-confidence. Movement builds clarity. Action produces results. Another hidden secret is that life rewards effort more than knowledge. You can know the right thing to do, but if you never do it, knowledge is meaningless. Effort bridges the gap between understanding and growth. People underestimate patience. Life does not reward shortcuts. Success is often the result of consistent effort over long periods. Small wins compound into significant progress. One disciplined day leads to another, then another, until momentum becomes unstoppable. Awareness of your reactions is crucial. Observe when you respond emotionally. Observe when you give away energy unnecessarily. Awareness itself creates a choice. Choice is freedom. Freedom creates opportunity. Another important point is that growth is invisible until it reaches a tipping point. You may not notice your strength, clarity, and calm each day. But after months or years, the transformation becomes undeniable. Avoid chasing perfection. Perfection paralyzes. Action creates progress even when imperfect. Mistakes are inevitable. Learn from them. Reflection and adjustment turn mistakes into lessons. Another truth is that knowledge without application is wasted. Reading, watching, and understanding are preparation. Acting consistently is creation. Preparation without action produces nothing. People often fail because they underestimate the power of their environment. Surround yourself with calm, disciplined, and focused people. Remove chaos and distraction. Environment shapes behavior more than intention alone. Another trap is overcomplicating growth. Stop seeking endless strategies. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop comparing methods. Master the basics: clarity, focus, discipline, consistency, and reflection. Finally, your life is created by your daily choices, your habits, and your reactions. Not your intentions, not your knowledge, not your circumstances. Start controlling the small moments, and the bigger picture aligns naturally. Quiet growth, disciplined attention, calm awareness, consistent action. These are the invisible forces that transform your life. No shortcuts, no hype, no noise, just steady, intentional effort that compounds quietly until one day, everything changes. Most people underestimate the impact of their daily routines. They think routines are boring or restrictive, but routines are the invisible architecture of your life. What you do consistently shapes your mindset, habits, and energy. One small decision repeated every day builds strength, focus, and clarity that no one can see immediately, but the results are inevitable over time. People often believe that big breakthroughs come from sudden inspiration. But real breakthroughs are the product of small, consistent actions taken over months and years. 1 hour of focused work each day, one thoughtful decision, one pause before reacting. They all accumulate into results that eventually feel unstoppable. Discipline is not about self-punishment. It is about creating a system where the right choice becomes automatic. Remove distractions. Limit noise. Arrange your environment so that your mind naturally follows the path of growth. When your environment supports you, your mind does not fight you, and your energy is preserved for meaningful action. Many people chase external validation, seeking approval from friends, family, or society. But validation is fleeting. Growth, however, is permanent. Focus on building yourself internally. Your habits, your mindset, and your reactions shape your life more than any opinion outside yourself. Another trap is reacting too quickly to circumstances. Life will always present challenges, conflicts, and discomfort. People who react emotionally give their power away. They let chaos dictate their energy. Learning to pause, observe, and respond intentionally transforms challenges into opportunities. This skill is rare but invaluable. Energy management is a hidden secret of successful people. Your mental and emotional energy is finite. How you spend it determines your clarity and strength. Avoid wasting energy on drama, petty arguments, or things outside your control. Invest it in action, focus, and meaningful progress. Many people overcomplicate self-improvement. They chase countless strategies, read endless books, watch countless videos, and follow multiple methods. But complexity paralyzes. The fundamentals matter far more than novelty. Focus, consistency, self-discipline, reflection, and clarity are timeless principles that never fail. Fear of failure is another reason people stagnate. They wait for perfect conditions or avoid risk entirely. But growth exists outside comfort zones. You must act despite fear. You must take imperfect steps forward. Each act of courage, however small, strengthens confidence and builds momentum for future action. Impatience is a silent killer. People want rapid results, but growth is slow and accumulative. Patience allows consistency to compound into extraordinary results. One step today, another tomorrow, repeated every day, produces a snowball effect that cannot be stopped. Another truth is that self-observation is a powerful tool. Notice your thoughts, habits, and reactions. Awareness is the first step to change. Once you observe patterns, you can choose different actions. Choice is freedom. Freedom allows you to grow intentionally rather than being controlled by habit or emotion. Most people misunderstand motivation. Motivation is emotional, temporary, and unreliable. Discipline is logical, consistent, and dependable. Real progress depends more on discipline than on fleeting inspiration. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, is the foundation of lasting growth. Another hidden truth is that knowledge without application is wasted potential. Learning is preparation. Action is creation. Without action, knowledge becomes useless. Insights only turn into results when consistently applied in daily life. Comparison is another trap. People measure their lives against others' highlights, ignoring the effort, struggle, and unseen moments behind success. Comparison steals confidence, energy, and focus. The only measure that matters is your own improvement, one step at a time. Clarity is a skill few master. Clear thinking allows you to prioritize, make better decisions, and avoid unnecessary stress. Without clarity, people react emotionally, chase the wrong goals, and waste time. Improving your thinking is more valuable than acquiring more information. Patience, focus, and awareness create an inner calm that makes life manageable even in chaos. Emotional stability allows better decision-making, deeper relationships, and a clearer path forward. Calmness is the hidden strength that protects your energy and guides your actions. Another mistake is letting ego control reactions. Pride often leads people to argue unnecessarily, defend themselves when it doesn't matter, or make choices based on image rather than reality. Letting go of ego allows wiser decisions, reduces stress, and preserves energy for what truly matters. Energy drains can be subtle. Social media, gossip, negative conversations, and meaningless debates slowly sap focus. Protect your attention and energy. What you consume shapes how you think, feel, and act. Careful selection of input leads to better thinking, better decisions, and more progress. Reflection is critical. Every day, review your actions. What went well? Where did you react unnecessarily? What decisions could be improved tomorrow? This simple habit builds insight, guiding better action and preventing repeated mistakes. Another truth is that life punishes hesitation more than failure. Mistakes teach. Hesitation delays. Action, even imperfect, moves you forward. Momentum begins when you choose to act, and each step builds confidence and clarity for the next. Focus on what matters most. Eliminate distractions, simplify decisions, and prioritize actions that align with your long-term goals. People who try to do everything often accomplish nothing. Clarity and focus amplify results far more than scattered effort. Another reason people fail is overestimating talent and underestimating effort. Natural ability is helpful, but consistent effort and intentional action create the real difference. Repetition, discipline, and persistence outweigh raw talent every time. Habits are powerful because they automate action. Choose small habits that support your goals. Repeat them daily. Protect them fiercely. Over time, they become part of your identity. Who you are is the sum of your repeated actions, not occasional effort. Another hidden truth is that life rewards those who act quietly and steadily. Loud gestures, dramatic announcements, and constant hype often achieve little. Progress is built in silence, repetition, and consistency. Self-trust is critical. Every time you follow through on your word, your confidence grows. Every time you break a promise to yourself, trust erodes. Build trust internally, and external challenges become easier to face. Another overlooked skill is the ability to manage emotions. Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring feelings. It means observing them, understanding them, and choosing responses intentionally. Mastering this skill separates reactive people from those who grow steadily. Another truth is that growth is cumulative. Daily actions, however small, compound over months and years. One small improvement today may feel insignificant, but repeated consistently, it transforms your life. Another trap is perfectionism. Waiting for perfect conditions, perfect plans, or perfect timing delays growth. Action, even imperfect, produces momentum. Mistakes provide lessons. Learning without action is wasted potential. Finally, your life is determined by your consistent choices, habits, and reactions, not by your circumstances or knowledge alone. Focus on small, intentional actions. Protect your energy. Control your attention. Act despite fear. Reflect daily. Over time, these choices build a life of clarity, calm, and growth. Quiet progress compounds until one day, everything feels different. You are calmer, more focused, more disciplined, stronger, and finally, free from the chaos of reaction and distraction. This is the power of consistent, intentional action repeated over time. Most people underestimate the invisible work that shapes their future. They focus on results, but results are simply the visible outcome of countless small, repeated actions done quietly over time. Every choice, every habit, every moment of self-control builds the foundation for the life they will eventually live. Ignoring this invisible work keeps them stuck, frustrated, and wondering why life doesn't improve despite their effort. True growth is rarely dramatic. It is not loud, flashy, or immediately visible. It is quiet. It happens when no one is watching. When you choose to pause instead of react. When you choose focus instead of distraction. When you choose consistency instead of sporadic effort. Over months and years, these small decisions compound into undeniable results. One reason people struggle is that they confuse effort with effectiveness. Being busy does not equal progress. Reacting constantly does not equal strength. Scrolling endlessly does not equal learning. The most successful people are not those who do the most. They are those who do the right things consistently. Another hidden truth is that self-improvement is inside out. You cannot control others, circumstances, or the chaos around you. What you can control is yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your habits, your focus, and your energy. Start there. The rest aligns naturally. Energy management is crucial. Your attention and focus are your most valuable resources. Every time you allow distractions, drama, or unnecessary conflict to consume your energy, you weaken your capacity to grow. Protect your attention like a treasure. Spend it only on what moves you forward. People often fail because they underestimate the compounding power of habits. One small habit consistently applied can transform your life. One negative habit repeated daily can destroy it. Habits are the building blocks of character. Your life is your habits. Master them. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about creating a system that makes the right choice the easiest choice. Remove distractions, set boundaries, and structure your environment so that your energy is naturally aligned with growth. When your environment supports your habits, your life improves almost effortlessly. Many people overthink and procrastinate because they fear mistakes. Fear paralyzes. But mistakes are essential. They are lessons disguised as failures. Action, even imperfect, moves you forward. Momentum begins when you act despite hesitation. Hesitation compounds stagnation. Action compounds growth. Another trap is chasing perfection. Waiting for the perfect plan, perfect moment, or perfect conditions delays progress indefinitely. Life rewards imperfect action consistently, not flawless action occasionally. Start where you are. Begin today. Small steps repeated daily lead to enormous transformation. Another mistake people make is seeking approval externally. Validation is temporary. Growth is permanent. When you focus on improving yourself, the approval you seek becomes irrelevant. Your life is yours to shape, not a reflection of someone else's expectations. Self-awareness is critical. Observe your reactions, your thoughts, your habits. Notice when you act from fear, ego, or habit instead of intention. Awareness itself is a form of power because it allows choice. Once you are aware, you are no longer a slave to automatic reactions. You can choose differently. Reflection strengthens growth. Each day, ask yourself, what did I do well? Where did I react unnecessarily? How can I improve tomorrow? Reflection builds insight, and insight guides better action. Without reflection, mistakes repeat silently. With reflection, growth compounds quietly. Another truth is that clarity is a skill few master. Clear thinking allows you to focus on what matters, make better decisions, and act effectively. Without clarity, people chase illusions, react impulsively, and waste energy on things that do not serve them. Clarity comes from calmness, reflection, and disciplined thinking. Patience is underrated. Growth takes time. Small actions repeated daily may feel insignificant, but over months and years, they accumulate into extraordinary transformation. Patience allows momentum to build. Impatience leads to mistakes, shortcuts, and burnout. Trust the process. Another critical skill is emotional management. Emotions are powerful, but they should not dictate your actions. Observe them, understand them, respond intentionally. Acting purely on emotion creates chaos. Acting with awareness creates stability, strength, and calm. Consistency is the hidden engine of growth. Motivation is unreliable. Emotion is unreliable. But habits repeated consistently build character and life steadily. One small action today, repeated tomorrow and the next day, eventually transforms your entire life. Another trap is chasing novelty. Endless strategies, tips, and advice can confuse and paralyze. Master the fundamentals: clarity, focus, discipline, reflection, patience, and self-awareness. These timeless principles are the foundation for lasting growth. Another truth is that life rewards effort more than knowledge alone. You may know the right thing, but without action, knowledge is wasted. Action bridges the gap between understanding and results. Doing what you know consistently is the real secret to progress. Your environment shapes your growth. Surround yourself with people who uplift, challenge, and inspire calm, intentional action. Remove chaos, distraction, and negative influences. Energy and habits are contagious. The people and environment around you will either support your growth or erode it. One final truth is that real transformation comes quietly, steadily, and consistently. It is built through small decisions, disciplined action, emotional control, reflection, and awareness repeated daily. The change may be invisible at first, but over time, it becomes undeniable. And now, as you take these lessons to heart, remember this: the life you want is shaped by the choices you make today, not by circumstances, luck, or external validation. Start small, act consistently, protect your energy. Pause before reacting. Focus your attention on what matters. Reflect daily. Your growth is happening in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Every time you pause instead of reacting, every time you focus instead of being distracted, every time you act intentionally, you are shaping your future. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more content like this that helps you grow, think better, and improve yourself while learning English naturally, please subscribe to my channel. Your journey starts with small, intentional actions, and together, we will keep growing step by step.